What's up, folks? It is Lance freaking Hepler. We are at Madras Cyclocross, and here is a shot of the two leaders in the 1-2 race in slow motion over the barriers, but we'll get back to that. Because first off, this is the proper way to dismount a bike. This is the type of bike I wish I was riding up the hill, and then you step off the bike, you lift it over your head, and then set it down. I don't know, that's fun.
Good morning, folks. It is race day. We are at Madras Cross. I'm here with Adrian Bosch, my least favorite Canadian. He's also a redhead, so, you know, something's weird there. We're about to get smashed by Jeff. Sorry, Jeff. All right, we're gonna race today and see what happens. Adrian's way faster than me. Thankfully, I don't have to race him today. But I do get to race Peter, and I'm freaking smoking his ass. But whatever. Now I've been jinxed. I've been jinxed. All right, let's have fun.
Okay, here we go. Here's the start of the Masters 50 race. Yes, I was on the front row. There was about 25 of us in this race. I got a fairly decent start. We got Michael Brown, Jeff Rice, all the usual suspects. Actually, we were missing a couple guys that were ahead of me in the overall standings who weren't at this race. And we had a couple extra people that aren't normally there. Ben Brainerd from Southern Oregon and Bear Perrin from Southern Oregon. Both two super fast guys. Ben Brainerd puts on a big gravel race in the Mount Shasta area of Northern California, and Bear Perrin is a former professional mountain biker. Of course, that was a lifetime ago, but you know, you never really lose that gas in your legs when you've been something like that. So here we are at the start, and I'm sitting here in third place. We're going to go through part of this first lap. This course was actually really quite fun, very different than in years past. We couldn't use this sandy section we've used in years past because there were kids' soccer games going on and we couldn't get access to it. So we ended up doing some laps around these softball fields and finding some different stuff. And I'm just trying to hold on to these three leaders for as long as I possibly can. And I stayed pretty close for about a lap, but eventually I just couldn't hang on these three guys. And there goes Bear Perrin, the former professional mountain biker. So lots of grassy corners and grass power sucking sections in this race, and we're gonna kind of just see how it goes. I ended up in a battle for fifth with my frenemy Gabe Sabatic, who rides for Trusty Switchblade. He is currently sitting right on my wheel, and we stayed together for literally the entire race. And that, it really made for a fun day of racing, and we weren't like, neither of us were in no man's land, because eventually these four guys that are ahead of me got away from the two of us, and we just could not kind of stay with them. They just have a little bit of an extra gear that me and Gabe don't quite have. So here we are, ripping away. It wasn't too long after this that they kind of faded away from us, but it sure made for fun racing. These four guys, super fast. I think, let's see, Jeff Rice ended up winning our race. Ben Brainerd ended up second. Michael Brown, who is our current race series leader, was third. Bear Perrin ended up fourth, and me and Gabe battled it out for the next two spots. So Bear got a very decent start and was up ahead of us for a bit, but he did start to fade at the end, and maybe it was a factor of me and Gabe were just fully trying to beat each other up that we started to gain back on Bear. So here's the part where we're going around the infield of the softball field here, and we are ripping along here. So this is the spot where we're on the warning track and we're coming up to that barrier that I showed you in that first little clip. And I have decided during the pre-ride that I was going to bunny hop this every lap, no matter what, and I did. I bunny hopped it there. I was able to get right back on the gas pretty quickly. Nobody else in the 50 field was bunny hopping it. They were all dismounting and running over it. But I've got a wonky groin muscle, and I was not willing to risk pulling my groin muscle again. So I'm like, I just committed to bunny hopping it. And you can see I actually gained some ground on the 4 guys ahead of me, but I couldn't hold that very much longer. Me and Gabe kind of stayed together. I would gap him by about 10 yards going. I'm going to show you every time I bunny hopped it, because nobody caught me bunny hopping it in the actual race from a different perspective other than the GoPro that's on the front of my bike here. Here we are passing some of the 70-year-olds, and I've got Gabe right on my wheel. So Gabe and I would get about a 10-yard gap on him during when I bunny hopped the barrier, but he was able to pull it back. So he was burning some matches trying to pull that thing back. Oh, here we go again, bunny hopping again. Yeep. It never felt like dangerous to me or close. I guess my confidence level just kind of went up and up every time I kept making it, which kind of made it fun. But
2 of us on your left, Rick.
Here we are catching Rick Gregory, the leader in the 70-plus field. He gave us some space. We called out that we were coming, and he gave us a little space to get around, which was kind of nice. But Gabe and I battled. This is Gabe Sabatic right ahead of me, and he went to the front in lap 4, I think, of our 5 laps. And he was, of course, he was trying to put in a little dig and maybe get a little gap so that he had some space before the barrier. But we're pretty evenly matched, which sure makes for fun racing. We're really quite evenly matched. He did slide out on one corner right behind me, and but he was able to catch back up, which is kind of cool. You can see Gabe kind of, his rear wheel goes a little loose going around the bases on the infield stretch. So this is the entrance off the path onto the warning track before we do the barrier, and I decided I wanted to be in front at that point, so I gave it a little bit of gas to get ahead of him. And here we come to the barrier, and I'm in front of him, and I still made it over the barrier. Gosh dang, I'm proud of myself for that. Maybe I should retract that. Anyway, the rest of this race, Gabe still kept catching up to me, and here we are with 1 lap to go. I ended up staying in front of Gabe for the rest of this lap, but it was not without major effort. Funny enough, Gabe and I, the last lap was our fastest lap, because we were both trying to get away from each other, and that's not usually the way I race. I usually fade pretty hard, but today I was pretty motivated. I was recording most of this last lap, and then I completely missed the finish because I didn't realize my camera was on, so I missed the 2 of us finishing. He was able to get back up to me, and we had to actually sprint it out right at the line, but I ended up just beating Gabe by maybe a wheel's length. He had come up alongside me, but I just barely held him off. So way to go, Gabe. That was freaking awesome. So I ended up 5th, and Gabe was 6th. I think there was 22 or 24. Awesome. This is Gabe right here. We're sharing some post-race love and attention, and so the racing just ended up being a whole lot of fun. We had a great time. Good on you, Gabe. Well done. Thanks for racing me. Thanks for making it clean. It was all good. Here's the start of the single speed race. Catching some of the guys.
Gabe. Dustin. David on the front row. Bradford. Oh, my favorite Canadian. LANCEHEPPLER. And Aaron.
Carl Decker showed up.
You're gonna sit in the line for a little while.
Giant factory off-road team member for a number of years. Been a professional bike rider for a long time. He lives in Bend, and he did the single speed race and the 1-2 race. But here he is, starting at the very back of the single speed race, just kind of letting them all get ahead, and then look at him on the left, just immediately go past 15 people. So pretty cool. There is Anj completely turfing it before the whole shot on one off-camber corner, allowing Bradford Smith to win the whole shot, which is right at the top of this little lip. So the single speeders had a pretty good field, which was very fun, and they actually had a pretty fun little race where Aaron Anderson and Anj Stadnik, both teammates with BG Klista, ended up being able to play teammates and stay out ahead of everybody else. Here they are. There's Aaron, there's Anj, and then here's the rest of them. There's Seth Patla, there's Gabe Lynn, there's Adrian Bosch, there's Chris Jones, there's Bradford Smith. Good job, Bradford. Kind of blowing it. You know, Chris Jones showed up to race. He hasn't done many cyclocross races in the last 5 or 6 years. Here's Carl Decker.
Decker, you're racing like a 50-year-old.
Walking around the corner. Good for him for showing up. But Chris Jones showed up and lined up, and he hasn't done many cyclocross races in the last few years, but he ended up third. So good on him. There's Dave Roth telling me that I started my video too soon. There's still a minute to go, and apparently I have my finger over the lens because I'm an excellent filmmaker. Excellent. Here's the start of the 1-2 race. Hitting the gas. There they go. The 1-2 field ended up having a good, decent field. There was like 10 of them, which is great. That's Landon Farnsworth in the lead there with, who's that, Andrew Loaiza, and Andrew Loaiza right on his tail. Here is the Masters 1-2 race start. Andrew and Landon were both bunny hopping. Max was not, but Max did still eventually get away from them. I think Max ended up winning.
Dylan, don't suck! Dylan,
there's Dylan Wiggins. Look at that form. So good. Max ended up winning. Landon ended up second. Andrew was third. There's Max in the lead. There's Landon having to come to a stop, even though he bunny hopped it. So good. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. This was a great race. Look at freaking Sean Styles smoking. Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you guys on the next one.